Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, we have a full house today. I'm so impressed, and I want to thank Todd Diggy, Mary Campbell, and Janice McKedowney for organizing this event. Let's give them a round of applause. But I'm not going to hold them responsible what happens on Saturday, okay? So, good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the USC Experience Retreat. We have a truly incredible program this morning. Today's retreat will challenge us to reimagine how we do things across both campuses and our medical enterprise. And it will redefine how our students and their parents, as well as our patients and their families, experience and benefit from the new environment we seek to create for them. So I just want to make it clear that this retreat, when it comes to USC Experience, is going to focus on the customer. Is the students and the tuition-paying parents and the patients and their families. In just a short while, Joseph Pine, the visionary author of the Experience Economy, will speak about principles that will transform and elevate our university. And after a short break, we will reunite to hear a panel discuss several USC stories. They will describe how they are creating exceptional experiences for our stakeholders within their own divisions. You will then have an opportunity to brainstorm with others at your table. And later at lunch, and I would encourage all of you not to miss lunch today. Later at lunch, USC trustee Rick Caruso will share his story of generating memorable experiences for guests at his singular award-winning retail destinations. Before we contemplate where we're going, it is necessary to know where we stand. As a private research university, USC has unique capabilities, but also we do have unique responsibilities. The relationships that we promote and preserve with our students and their parents, as well as our patients and their families, are the lifeblood of our great university and its future. Our future and theirs are closely intertwined. Just as USC lives for its stakeholders, our stakeholders live for USC, which is why delivering the experiences that our stakeholders expect and surpassing those expectations wherever possible is paramount to USC's viability and ascent. Today, we approach an important junction in education and medicine. Institutions of learning and healthcare have been the most enduring centers of human improvement, but both are facing greater pressure than ever before. The rise of online education has led to questions about the value and purpose of a traditional university campus, as well as fears of its eventual disappearance. Many of these concerns lack validity, but the emergence of online education imposes fresh demands to improve the experiences of our students on a physical campus. And we should feel blessed as a university because it was just 25 years ago that this campus was primarily a commuter campus. This is no longer the case. In medicine, the dawn of new regulations and medical advances has ushered in a seemingly contradictory mandate to offer more for less. While healthcare today is far from being on life support, this new environment leaves providers beholden to enhancing their services. As touch points in providing experiences and services for our students, parents, patients, and families, you each have a pivotal role to play. But the theater in which you perform is a noble one. The stage upon which you all perform important roles is a venue for showcasing USC's powerful academic brand. And our pride is well-founded. The university's brand stretches around the world, resonating with individuals of all ages and all avocations. Our academic excellence is renowned. We offer unparalleled opportunities across disciplines for undergraduates and graduates pursuing our professional programs. Transformative faculty members are changing the intellectual shape of the university as much as they are changing the scholarly contours of their respective fields. USC is a vital center of innovation. As a major research university, we always explore and experiment, not only for the sake of exploration of experimentation, but to solve problems and improve lives. And we're advancing humanity each and every day. In addition to research, we boast a unique commitment to the arts. With 6 independent schools for the creative and performing arts, as well as visions and voices, we encourage students to feed their imaginations and nourish their artistic souls. And our athletic spirit contributes greatly to the school spirit of the overall university. The university also offers students an unparalleled undergraduate experience. Take a stroll through the university at any given moment, and you will find a place that is alive with activities. USC's international character defines us not only as a global citizen, but as a global classroom. With students today from more than 115 nations, and of course students from all 50 states, and countless international programs, USC reaches out to the world. USC is also home to our world-famous Trojan family. This vast network of supporters wears its heart on its sleeves and its devotion on its other sleeve. And finally, our university has been making serious investments in our medical enterprise. Today, Keck Medicine is a critical center of patient care that is changing the face of our university. But as it continues to expand, it is also changing the face of medicine throughout Southern California. These core strengths of USC are a wellspring of meaningful and memorable experiences for our stakeholders. They are the cornerstones of our brand. And yet, if we are to remain competitive and improve, we must find new ways to surpass what we have already been doing. In some respects, education and medicine share similar places in USC's mission. In education, we are committed to producing individuals who are complete human beings. In medicine, we are dedicated to producing individuals who are whole. In academia, we must strive to improve the residential student experience, the student services and facilities. This is especially important at the undergraduate level, where demands are much higher. Several months ago, actually this past summer, we took an important step forward when we broke ground on the USC Village. But such upgrades to USC's physical infrastructure are only one element that will set us apart. More important are the social and human aspects of the university. The face-to-face encounters inside and outside the classroom have the deepest impact. In many years, we already excel at this. Admissions and events come quickly to mind. But again, we must continue to strive for improvements. We must sustain and improve the experiences of students and their parents, all the while creating new experiences as the times change. This is particularly true throughout our medical enterprise. Medicine is an intensely interpersonal field where people at their most vulnerable rely on doctors and staff to be their most accessible. And this applies to the full range of patients and their families. Every day, in every moment, in every encounter, we can never overplay our commitment to creating the USC experience. Thank you. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this morning's keynote speaker, Mr. Joseph Pine. Mr. Pine is an internationally acclaimed author, speaker, and management advisor. Before beginning a prolific career in teaching executive education, he spent 13 years working at IBM. Mr. Pine now specializes in helping others see the worlds of academia and business differently throughout lectures, workshops, and executive education. He also reshapes and realigns perspectives through his groundbreaking books, including the award-winning Mass Customization, The New Frontiers in Business Competition and Authenticity, What Consumers Really Want. But Mr. Pine is probably best known for co-authoring The Experience Economy. Work is theater, and every business is a stage. In 2009, The Experience Economy was named one of the 100 best business books of all time. So please help me welcome one of the world's foremost authorities on education and business, here to share what his ideas mean for the USC experience, Mr. Joseph Pine.
Fundamentally, goods and services are no longer enough. Goods and services are everywhere becoming mere commodities. And that means it's time to move to a new level of economic value, to go beyond the goods and services to staging experiences for our customers. Now, if the most important thing to understand, if you remember nothing else from our time here this morning, remember this. Experiences are, in fact, a distinct economic offering, as distinct from services as services are from goods. It's basically use goods as props and services as a stage to engage each and every person in an inherently personal way, and thereby create a memory, which is the hallmark of the experience. And of course, you see it in healthcare. In fact, I probably work more in the healthcare industry than any other for the simple reason that research shows that the better the patient experience, the better the outcomes. And we're going to talk about that toward the end of the presentation this morning. But the outcomes actually get better. The chances that somebody heal goes up, the time it takes to heal goes down if you have a better patient experience. So one of the things to recognize that as we've shifted into an experience economy, it means that you are now competing against the world. You're competing against the world. You may think you're competing only against other educational institutions or healthcare institutions, only in your geographic area, only in your industry and that. But in fact, thanks to this shift to experiences, you are competing against the world for the time, the attention, and the money of individual consumers. These are the currencies of the experience economy: time, attention, and money. And time is limited. I can only experience things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I got to fit sleep in there sometime. But if somebody does capture me and my time and gets me immersed in an experience that they're creating for me, and so I'm spending my time there, what am I not doing? I'm not spending that time with you. In the same way, in today's media fragmented world, it's increasingly difficult to capture somebody's attention. Attention is scarce today. But if somebody does capture my attention by immersing them in an experience in which I'm spending my time, then what am I not doing? I'm not giving that attention to you. In the same way, money is consumable. If I've got $1 to spend and I spend it with a different company in a different industry in a different geographic location, what can't I do with that $1 again? I can't spend it with you. It's consumed. It's gone. So you need to understand the basic principle of the experience economy, which is that the experience is the marketing. The experience is the marketing. In other words, the best way to generate demand today for any offering, whether it's a commodity, a good, a service, or even another experience, is with an experience so engaging that customers can't help but spend their time with you, give you their attention, and then spend their money as well by buying your particular offering. So one of the key things that companies the world over need to do is to stage marketing experiences. Experiences that do the job of marketing by generating demand.
Good morning. Let's give another round of applause to the USC Thornton Percussion Ensemble. And thanks to Dean Cudietta for helping us out this morning. It's a nice surprise to enliven our morning just a bit, isn't it? Nothing like drums to get us off on a good start. Although it's a little hard to follow Joe Pine. But it's my honor today to introduce the USC Stories section. Today we're going to hear from 6 panelists, all of whom have stories to share. The hospitality experience, the student experience, the admissions and conversion experience, and lastly, the patient experience. My role today is really just to set up this panel of accomplished individuals who all have various constituents, very different. But all of us have the same mandate to deliver a first-class experience. Sorry, Joe, I mean transformation. So I wondered how I would do that today. What is the through line for me? So I'll speak from my own experience. You know, I grew up in the theater and eventually became a producer and a director and an event producer. So my ultimate point of view and point of reference is always the audience. What is the expectation of the audience, and how do you deliver on that expectation? But it's not about just delivering on the expectation, it's actually surpassing that expectation. And for me, it's essentially a big formula. What does the audience want and expect? How do you want them to feel before, during, and at the end of the experience? And ultimately, what is the emotional takeaway? That's what we're all here for, I believe, the emotional takeaway, or as Joe calls it, the transformation. So the experience really starts long before the experience. It starts at the expectation. So I'm going to give you a little scenario that you've all experienced in one form or another, but please adapt it to your own area of expertise, whether it's housing, dining services, events, admissions, patient care, parents programs. So you and your friend hear that a famous production of Phantom of the Opera is coming to town, or whatever show you want. You call each other to see if you can get tickets because John Doe Superstar is appearing in this production. And this will be an expensive night for sure, but it'll be a once-in-a-lifetime event. And you get tickets, but not just any tickets. You score tickets in the 8th row center orchestra on opening night. And it's 2 months away, but that's okay, because that'll give you 2 months to talk about it together, to do some research on the show and the story, to talk about the cast, who else is in the show. The date grows near, and you think that it would be a great idea if maybe we had dinner beforehand. And why not splurge? You know, this is going to be a great evening that you're both going to remember. So the night arrives, and you decide to dress up to the nines. No jeans tonight, that's for sure. You go to dinner at Shea something or other, and then it's fantastic. And then you head down the street to a theater like the Pantages. And the theater is a very, very ornate palace. You give your tickets to the usher at the door. You even see a few celebrities standing around in the foyer. You decide to have a drink before the show starts so that you have just the right amount of giggly on before the curtain goes up. You look around, you look up those grand staircases, up in the ceiling, and boy, is it grand. Beyond what you ever thought a theater could look like, more like something out of an MGM movie. You go down the aisle to the best seats in the house, plush red velvet seats, and some people think they recognize you simply by where you're seated that night. The entire audience moves into the theater and sits in a very unnatural thing, regimented rows, all facing forward. You feel a collective excitement building, and the crowd is really quite boisterous. Then the lights slowly dim to half, and the audience goes almost quiet when all of a sudden a conductor comes up out of the pit and a spotlight hits her, and the audience starts applauding. And then the overture starts playing those wonderful tunes that you've heard, that you've known, and you've been waiting months to hear live. Then the house lights dim out except for that beautiful red curtain with the gold fringe. And there's not a sound in the entire audience as you focus on a large frame around the stage. And then slowly, ever so slowly, those red lights fade, getting everyone ready for the curtain to rise and the experience to begin. When in reality, they have been a part of that experience for over 2 months. So what is the point of all of this? We haven't even seen one moment of the play yet. That is the point. The expectation, the buildup, is as much a part of the experience as the experience itself. They are not separate. Success only happens when the actual experience meets or exceeds the actual expectation. Each of us, each of my colleagues, panelists on this stage, understands this concept. So whether you're a 10th grade student in a high school in the middle of the country, looking at colleges for the first time, or a patient thinking about where they are going to get the best respect and the best care for them or their family, or a prospective parent who visits the campus for another event long before their child is even considering college, the experience starts long before you ever meet them at the door. Let's listen to our colleagues tell their stories. Thank you.
They're building over 100,000 square feet of retail, focused on the needs of the USC family, with such brands as Trader Joe's, and focusing the restaurant selection on those brands that meet the needs of the students. If any of you have ever been to the Lion Center on any day, any time during the day, any part of the night, you'll realize that we have more demand for workout facilities than we have capacity at the Lion Center. The new village will add over 20,000 square feet of state-of-the-art workout space. The village really becomes our next step of being able to create more success stories. We had a couple employees who were working at the Starbucks, and they recognized parents that were in line ordering drinks. And these parents were in town because their son had been critically injured and was at the hospital in really bad shape. So the parents were here visiting to take care of their son and to meet with USC, as you can imagine, completely distraught. When they got to the register to pay for their drinks, that employee had recognized them as these parents, and she simply said, "You have enough to worry about right now what's going on with you and your family. That drink is on USC." We heard from the parents numerous times. They kept going back to the Starbucks during their visit. But I'll tell you, we talk about stories when we're meeting with our team all the time, because that's the exact type of story and that's the exact type of action that we want them to feel empowered to take.
There are so many exciting developments and initiatives that have been completed and that are in the process of being completed that students are very thankful for. Just to highlight a few, the new Student Health Center has been a wonderful resource that Dr. Curie is going to talk about in a little bit. The new Annenberg Building, Daughtreef Hall, students have an opportunity to really learn and lead the world with just the fascinating work and research that the facilities provide for them. And of course, the $650 million University Village project, that is going to completely create an unparalleled student experience and really hit that level of expectation.
In short, the most effective way to recruit outstanding undergraduate students is one student at a time. So just by way of a little background, the Academy focuses on the creative and innovative possibilities at the intersections of disciplines, in particular, the intersection of design, engineering, and business. And in recruiting for the program, we were looking for students who demonstrated the following profile. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty broadly crafted list of attributes ranging from ability in the arts, to ability with subjects that require extensive math and science, to demonstrated capacity as an entrepreneur and leader. Further, as you can see, there are some real intangibles here. Curiosity, initiative, and my personal favorite, an ability to accept periodic failure as an essential component of innovation. Try to explain that to a parent. We worked extremely hard to build not just a class, but a cohort of students with diverse backgrounds and abilities that would eventually mesh together into a unique and powerful whole. We gave them offers they couldn't refuse, and we delivered those offers in the coolest way we could possibly think of.
Hey, Joseph, we've got some great news for you.
Congratulations, you've been accepted to the USC Ivy and Young Academy.
The Trojan family is excited to offer you a spot in the class of 2018.
From Hollywood to Hollywood, welcome to USC.
So we came away from that with work to do on our organizational culture, but also a list of opportunities. And Dennis said I could only have one slide for opportunities, Dennis, so I limited it to these. We have opportunities, or now we're going to call them sacrifices, right, Joe? Because these are where we ask our patients to sacrifice. We ask them to sacrifice on scheduling, sometimes on communication, on parking, because we've added so many patients and so many employees that we're not able to keep up with the demand. We've asked them to sacrifice on the fact that they will get multiple bills, not all of which are right the first time or the second time. And we've asked them sometimes to sacrifice on our inability to communicate on next steps. So those are all things we're working on.
I don't think we expect anything less than excellence.
There's always opportunities for improvement, and our goal is to seek those out and do the best we can to address those and continuing to work toward improving every day.
It is embedded in how we provide our care, how we teach, how we grow, how we interact with each other.
What makes us stand out is our people.
One of our best qualities that we have here is respect towards each other.
Teams that work together well are teams that respect each other, care about each other, and that makes the difference.
Everyone wants the same things at the end of the day, and that's really to deliver outstanding patient care.
We put our patients, all of our patients first, every day.
Our every day is our patients once in a lifetime.
That's the quality of care that we give here, day in and day out. It just doesn't always make the news and it's unspoken, but it happens here every day.
Just the other day we did a heart transplant on somebody who wasn't able to go home with their family. And then because we did that, they're able to see their son's graduation. I love being a part of that.
One of the things we want our patients to feel is known when they come into the Keck Medical Center.
That just makes my day, knowing that my department has such a huge impact in making that patient feel cared for.
If someone just started working here, I would tell them to put their heart first and really care for their patients as if they were their own family member.
And to work toward that common goal of providing excellent patient service and then recharging overnight and getting ready to do it all over again the next day.
Well, you might be somewhat off the hook, but just a little bit. I was going to make you work a little bit harder than I have time left to make you work, because we absolutely must get over to the Town and Gown by noon, because there is more wow to come there for sure. So it's my little joke for the day will just be late last night, somewhere over in the AV pit over there, they said, should we have a countdown clock up on the stage? Okay, so I was going to actually assign every table an actual scenario. It was either going to be a patient scenario or a student scenario, and let the diversity at each table kind of brainstorm actually the patient or student sacrifices. So what I would rather have you do with the 15 or so minutes that we have, we did not want to let you get out of the room without having a chance to take all of this information that's been kind of brought into the room this morning and talk amongst yourselves. And I think that the lesser assignment might be, and the win for the morning before we head off to lunch will be, to simply discuss among your colleagues at your tables identify where your sacrifices are for your particular customers and see if you can come up with at least a short list of sacrifices so that you can be able to take that back to your departments after today. So I want to put you into that discussion right now. It's going to be like speed sacrifice identification. Go for it. Could I get everyone's attention back to the front of the room for just a moment? Thank you very much. Hope you had a chance to do some quick ideation at least. That's where it begins. Identifying where you are and where the world is and where the world is going and where we are going. And so I just wanted to mention that my team and I have been compiling a whole list of resources that we are going to have available to the entire Trojan community on a landing page within our website. We'll get you a lot of quick start ideas, and we will send all of that information out to you in the next couple of days. But with no further ado, we have about 400 people to migrate over to our beautiful town and gown for a very lovely lunch and to hear our trustee Rick Caruso speak. So if you could make your way over there right away, that would be wonderful. Thank you.